og velkommen til Hattrick. I dag interviewer vi Marvin Egho via Google Meet i disse coronatider. Vi tager lige en snak om hvad der er sket siden vi alle sammen blev sendt i karantæne, og til nu, hvor samfundet så småt begynder at åbne igen. Så welcome, Marvin.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great you would like to participate here.
Of course.
Yeah, perfect. Marvin, first of all, are you good?
Yeah, I'm really good. Now we're back in training, so we're all happy again. So it looks like soon it's the normal life back. So I hope.
Yeah. It starts with the little steps, but we're getting there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was wondering, you being an Austrian, trapped in Denmark when the society kind of closed down and it wasn't a possibility to go back to Austria or anything. How did that affect you?
I think the most important thing for me was that my girlfriend came to Denmark, so she was in Austria. And when I heard that they closed the boards and everything to Denmark, I just told her she should take the next flight. She was here with me. So that was important for me because in Vienna it was the same situation like here in Denmark. So it would make no difference. We just could stay at home, make our runs and everything. So it was just important that she's here, because she can really cook really good, and also we have a good time. I'm not so lonely, and she's an athlete, so she also pushed me that I make some runs and stay focused.
Yeah. Okay. So you kind of used the situation for something good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I've prepared 3 little questions as a kind of a warm-up before we start the actual interview. And the questions are where you have one of 2 answers to make. An example could be, would you prefer sushi or tapas? And then you choose one, and
I choose one.
Yeah, and you explain why you choose that one.
Okay.
And I've got 3 ones.
Okay.
And we start off with in the music department. I know you're a bit younger than me, but still, these are 2 groups that have meant a lot for music in general. So would you prefer the Beatles or the Rolling Stones?
It's really tough for me because I really not so into both of them. It was long before, but I think more the Beatles because I just like more songs from them. But I cannot really say like I have a connection to the music. But it's both legends.
Yeah. Okay. So what kind of music do you listen to?
Right now I listen a lot to German rap and reggaeton, hip hop, R&B. So I like a lot of different types of music. Before the game, I like house, a little bit faster things. But at home, I like reggaeton, R&B, hip hop. So yeah, that's my music type.
Who's the DJ in the dresser room, in the locker room?
It's either me or Lambo the most of the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And all the other players are happy with that.
Yeah, it's always like when you're the DJ, you never get good credit, for the music. But I think I play a lot of different music. So one maybe likes this song on the next song, so I try to make it as good as possible for everybody.
Okay, so there's a little something for everybody.
Yeah, I think. But if you ask some of the other players, they would say maybe it's bad, but they enjoy it.
Okay. Well, the other question is something that's a bit more important to me, because I prefer one of these answers a lot. So it's in the movie department. Do you prefer Star Wars or Star Trek?
Another one where I'm really bad because I didn't watch one of them. It's embarrassing a little bit because
haven't you seen any of the Star Wars movies at all?
No, I was not into it. I saw when I was young, of course, we had this, to fight and everything. I had played with them, but never watched the movie. So it's also hard that I can say something. But I think Star Wars was cooler for me in the youth, when I was young.
Okay. But you've got some.
So I would go with Star Wars with.
Perfect. But you've got some catching up to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. The last one, and it's a question about football. Andreas Herzog or Michael Laudrup?
The funny thing is, Michael Laudrup, I didn't knew him before, but then I saw in this Corona time, I saw a video from Thierry Henry, him for sure. He made a Insta live and then he talked about him. So I watched his games and passes. So I think he was an unbelievable player, great passes, everything. But I have to go with Herzog because he's from Austria.
Yeah.
And when I was young, I looked up to him, so I go with Herzog. Sorry for the Danish people.
Yeah. But Hattrick also played in both Vienna clubs, didn't he?
I think only for Rapid, what I know. Yeah.
Okay. And then he went to Werder Bremen and Bayern Munich.
Yeah, a lot of clubs he had.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's also the record of national team games.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's okay. I understand your answer, but of course you should have picked Michael Laudrup.
I saw his passes are unbelievable, so he was a fantastic player.
Yeah, exactly. He was. Okay, Marvin. Now we are warmed up, so now we get down to business. Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, as we talked a little bit about earlier, nearly 2 months ago, the whole society shut down, and the squad was sent home eventually. How have you, as a squad, has that had any meaning for the team spirit going through a time like this together?
Yeah, I think in general we have to say that it was a little bit hard because at the beginning when they sent us home, it was of course we knew behind us that it will take a long time, but always the government said, okay, maybe in 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, so we always prepared with runs and everything for 2 weeks, and then it just goes on. So of course it was a little bit frustrated at the end, but then I think for the team spirit of for football, you can see it when we came back on the pitch. And we just saw each other again. We played football together. You just know what is the meaning right now, about football. Before, of course, you play also together, but now you were so happy. Everybody wanted to play again. So, of course, it will do something with the how you see football. That it's like a gift that you can play. It shows you a lot with this Corona time.
Yeah. Okay. So you think your motivation is bigger coming back from the quarantine now, or?
Yeah, of course. I think maybe the condition, of course, it didn't play so much on the grass and everything will be a little bit bad, not so good like before. But I think the motivation and that you want to play football again, it will be so big for everybody. I think that everybody's talking about AGF, the first game to play again, and then there will be the next step with fans again. It will take a little bit more time, but you will appreciate it and will be really looking forward to all these things.
Okay, but did you have any contact with any of the other players during this time?
The good thing is that Simon Piesinger from Austria, when he came to Randers, I had a second room, so he took this room.
Yeah.
So I lived always with Piesi. He was like my roomie.
Yeah.
So I had always contact to him. And then not really contact at the beginning. We were sometimes without contact in Randers when we had this training, the small ones.
Yeah.
But not really. It was more about maybe a little bit in the groups, the information or something. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. But now you're back, and everybody seems happy to be back on the pitch. Yeah. Okay. Great.
100%.
Yeah. But as you mentioned, of course, it has had an effect on your condition, and perhaps also, shall you say, the match fitness. How much of a setback is it that you have been in quarantine for about a month or so.
I think in this period where we stopped, it was almost at the end of the season, so everybody was in full power, full shape.
Yeah.
So I think it will affect a lot from the condition, everything for each player. But when you play against other teams, it doesn't affect you so much because you know the other team also has the same problems when you call it a problem.
Yeah.
So of course you will feel it, but everybody will feel it. Maybe the game will be a little bit with more mistakes, slower at the beginning until we get our 100% condition back. But I think so for that somebody has an advantage, it will not be. It will be the same for everybody.
Okay, but is there any specific area that you have a lot of catching up to do, or how do you see it?
No, I think like we were a team and we were all full motivated. I saw that everybody made the runs at home, so we are in shape. But it's a different shape when you run outside and hold the condition, or you are on the pitch. The movements you do on the pitch, the sprints and everything, you can only get this when you train or play a game. And there are also like what it's typical what they call the game fitness, what you only get if you play 90 minutes, and you can only get it there. So for sure you will feel it there that you say like, okay, after 70 minutes you're almost dead, you cannot run anymore, maybe you have to change your output. Before you could go until 90 minutes, or maybe after 2 sprints you're a little bit more tired than before, and these things. But yeah, I think this will be the main things.
Yeah, and I could see today it was announced that you will play a friendly match against Vendsyssel
Yes.
this week. Yeah, and you played an internal match between the squad yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2 days ago.
2 days ago?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. And you scored twice.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're back in shape.
Yeah. When you take it from the goals, then yes. But I think like of course I also felt it a little bit. I need a little bit more match fitness. But it was nice to play in the stadium again. Have a game. It was not a real game, but like a similar to a game. And yeah, it looked okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you got one match against Vendsyssel before it's a match in the Super League.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is that how much meaning will that have coming into the game against AGF?
Yeah, I think like I heard that AGF will not make a training game. So I think it will help us a little bit, but it will be not a big advantage. I think you just need a game to get this feeling, some rhythms back, to have this match, how you call it, that you have your passes, what to do and everything. But I think next week when we play against AGF, this is a little bit good for everybody because it's a derby, and even there are no fans, there will be the motivation will be so high. So I think against Manchester, you cannot keep this motivation so high how it will be against AGF. But of course, it will help you a little bit to get these rhythms back, these passes, and just know how a game feels against the other team.
Yeah. What are your expectations for the match next week against AGF?
It's hard to say because like this game was a little bit like we should play them 3 times. Then it was one time about the pitch or the weather. The next time was about Corona, and now we finally plays without fans. I think derbies lives from the atmosphere, from the motivation, from the fight and everything. But I think it will be a good game. I just have good memories from the stadium.
Yeah.
There, so I expect that we will have a good game and be full motivated and win there.
Yeah. So have you talked about in the squad there's a lot of restrictions going into this match. For instance, there isn't any spectators. Do you think that will be more of an advantage for you than for AGF, or is that the same for both of you? Do you think?
It's hard to say because I think like what the fans give you in games like this is more this extra kick, this adrenaline what you have in your body. But the history between me and us and AGF, since I'm here also, like we beat them so often, so we know and they know they won't beat us so hard. So they will come out with everything they have. and we have to hold against it. And I think if there would be an advantage for somebody, maybe if they would score with the fans, they will have like a booster. But I think if they would play not so good, it will help us, because the fans will be they will whistle or something. But now it will be just like a fight on the pitch.
Yeah. Okay.
Not so much mental things, because I think when the fans are there, it's more mental things when they are loud or when they are whistling.
Yeah. Okay. So you think it's just down to the bare motivation and the fact that it's a derby?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that we know they want to beat us so hard, and they know they have to beat us, because otherwise it's again like embarrassment for them. So
Yeah.
it will be funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. It would.
Yeah.
But Randers FC also has a little bit on stake, right? Because it's so tight getting into top 6. So we kind of need the victory.
Yeah, for sure. I think we have 3 games. At least I think if we want to come to the top 6, I think we need 6 points. So if we don't take it in AGF, it will be just harder, because then we have to take it from Håbede and Copenhagen. It will be not so easy. But I think I have a good feeling. The last games against AGF were always good. So why not this time again?
Yeah, of course. Perfect. Marvin, back in the spring of 2019, you were a guest on Hattrick when we made a podcast.
I remember it good.
You remember it good? Okay, perfect. Because we also played a FIFA match. Is that why you remember?
Yeah, exactly. It was sweet.
Yeah. Okay. But when we made the podcast, we talked a little bit about Randers FC as a club, the stature of the club, and what progress you expected and would like Randers FC to make at that time. And also the progress you yourself would like to make. Yeah. And now it's been almost on the date a year since you last visited Hattrick.
Okay.
And how do you see the development of Randers FC in the year that has gone?
I don't know exactly what I said in this time.
No, we were talking about the style of play, for instance, that Randers FC played at that time. Perhaps it's the same. We were talking about that Randers FC came from a season where things were a little bit rough, and therefore Randers FC played with a lot of played safe with a lot of notice on the defense and played it from there. And one of the things you talked about was that it would be nice to starting to make more chances, for instance, and play a little bit more offensive, perhaps. How do you think, has there been a change in style of play over that?
Yeah, I can just say that also, since I'm here, when I arrived, I saw the situation in the club was a little bit like, okay, they had a bad year and this, and then also I think with Thomas Berger was a new coach. So since this time, I think we almost made a step in front. So at the end of the season last year, I think we had a good finish when we beat AGF. And when you take it back, we were almost last year already in the top 6. It was the last game where we fall out from the top 6. And then we came until the Brøndby game, where we could play for the Europe League. So it was also close. There was a really good season. And then it was like, okay, then we lost Bear and Polle. So it was a little bit like a lot of questions. How will we be the next year? Of course, we had a little bit of confidence, because we saw that we are good at the end and we had everything. And I think in this year, we just developed a little bit more playing style. We had some new players we came in who are more, let's say, footballers, like more the player types. Before, I think with Bear and Polle, they were aggressive and gave us this power. Now we had a little bit more of a mix. And you can also see that thing with the goals we scored this season. I think we are on the top, not completely in the top, but we are in front there with a lot of goals we scored. So you can see that it's effective, and I think it's also nice to know that we can score in one game 3 or 4 goals. It's good to see. So I think the development is big since I'm arrived. I think also, like, when you take it that the other teams, how they look at you, I think nobody wants to play Randers. Of course, it's not so easy to come to our stadium. Everybody, you feel this also is different. At the beginning, when I came, it was more like, okay, Randers had a bad year and this, and now it's like, okay, they are not so bad, you know. But I think at the end of the day, if you want to make it higher or even to go to the top 6 or other things, we need to beat the top 3 teams, you know. We had in the last year so many problems against Copenhagen, Midtjylland, and Brøndby. We didn't even took points from them. So if you want to make the next step, we need also to win games in these games, home or away.
Yeah. Okay. So you think there's been a lot of development, but there's still some tiny steps to make.
Yeah, I think when you see our playing style and how we compete against other teams, you see the development. But what it takes that we are top 6 team or concerned, we have to beat also and take points from these teams.
Yeah. How about the team spirit? I think every time I've interviewed one of you guys from Randers FC, everybody has mentioned that the team spirit is very good. And all the time, everybody wants to give 100% at the training, and also when you play the games. Is that something you agree with?
Yeah, I agree totally. I think especially in Denmark, I don't know if it's in the other clubs where I was before, it was never like this. I always had this feeling, okay, maybe this is just a Denmark mentality, but I think here in Randers, in our dressing room, it started with with Søren, the sports director, and everybody who give us this signal. Then the coach bring it into the dressing room that we are one team and we are not like an individual team where we have only some players. Everybody knows what is the rule. We know that if we make our work with the running and everything, the rest will come. And this is just like the pushing in the training and everything. Everybody wants to win. You can just feel this, and I think it also shows with our players we have that we make often a really good job on the weekend.
Yeah, that kind of discipline, is that something that is it the coaches who preach that discipline, or is it something within the players that made some, should we say, rules about how to conduct yourself?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit from the coach, a little bit from the players. I think you need your self-discipline to do your own things. But then I think, like, every coach, if he wants to have success, he needs to reach the players. I think Thomas Beck really reached us. He knows how to make it with which player, when to make a little bit more fire, when to be relaxed and everything. But I think in general, we're also smart players to know, okay, when there's like this game or this game, we have to give 100%. Everybody motivates us. But if it's, for example, something not so serious in the dressing room, we can make jokes. So it's a good mix that the coach bring us the motivation. We also have it. So yeah, I think it's a mix of them.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Back then, Marvin, a year ago, you also talked about you would like to develop as a player yourself. And you talked about putting in some extra gym sessions and so on. Have you been happy with the way your own career has been while being at Randers FC?
Yeah, I think there's always a little bit place in the top, so you can always be a little bit better. But I think in general, when I came, I think at the beginning it was not so well, and from the beginning to now, I think you can always see a little bit of a progress. I think you can see it also this season that I played every game. Only the last game when I was suspended, but the rest I played every game from the beginning. So I also had this feeling that the coach sees the progress and trusts me 100%. And I think for my body condition and everything, I can just say, like, I gained like 6 kilograms since I'm in Randers. So I also feel like a little bit a stronger player. I changed a little bit my style because I also spoke with my old coach I had, and he said like that I look more physical now, that like a physical striker. Before I was more the runner athlete and try to make everything with my technique. Now I also use my body because I know the Denmark league is a physical league. You get to use this, and it will help me for the future. So I'm happy with the progress. But of course, in goal wise and assist wise, you can always have a little bit more. But in general, I'm happy.
Yeah. Okay. Do you feel that your position in the squad is has become bigger also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure you feel this. Is it with the how you call it, like the trust that the coaches give me to do some things in the training or in the games? You can feel it there also, and also from the teammates, how the trust is. They know, okay, what can he do for us, and what can we get from him. So from there, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. But now, Marvin, you've got 1 year left or so of your contract. So back then we also talked about that Randers FC was a stepping stone for you for coming to a bigger club. Do you think that time is now? Is it now you have the ambition to move on?
It's hard to say because now after this Corona time, you don't know where the football goes, how the transfer window will be, how it will be with how many clubs have money and this and this. So there's a lot of different things also, not only like football things, also like with what I said, like with the money. But I think like now it will be my second year in summer. Would you ask me before Corona time, I would maybe say like, okay, it looks like maybe when Randers needs the money or they want to sell me, that I will make a transfer. Right now we have to see. We have 13 games more, so I just want to help the team make more goals, more assists, and with this also my value will be bigger. So if you say it like the perfect step would be okay to make a transfer in summer, but we will also see, because now with the Corona time I can also think about maybe to resign in Randers. So we have to see.
Okay. So this bad disease has a lot of influence in many things. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't know it now because you have to wait. Maybe it's a positive thing. Maybe in other direction it helps you, but yeah, right now we just have to see how it goes.
Yeah. Okay. But if we only kept the focus on you, do you think you have achieved what you can in Randers FC and therefore would like to move on, or do you still think you have got something you can do with the club, together with the club?
Of course, I think a big goal, it will be hard, but I still have to make the top 6, and this is with the team more. But for me, I hope that some teams or some fans in Denmark who football, they just say like when somebody say Marvin Egho, you just have something in your head. I think I created some moments where some football fans will have me in my head, in their head. So it's always a goal where you can see, okay, did you go well or not? Maybe I'm not the biggest name in Denmark, but I hope that I'm a small name that you remember sometime. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can start off by scoring once or twice Thursday next week, and that will help the memory.
Yeah, it would be nice. I think one of the best moments was in their stadium, so why not?
Yeah, why not? Exactly. Well, great, Marvin. That's about it. Thank you for taking the time to do this.
Of course. Well, nice questions. Thanks for having me.
Perfect. Okay, Marvin, I'll just say goodbye to the viewers, and then we'll log off afterwards. Okay.
Perfect. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Det var alt for nu, mine damer og herrer. Jeg håber, at I kigger med igen næste gang, vi laver et indslag med en Randers FC-spiller. Ha' det godt. Hej.